Since my parents are coming to live here, can you leave? His unexpected request caught me off guard. To be told such a thing in the house we've shared. Okay. But I need some time to pack. Can you wait until tomorrow? That was my response. After some thought, he coldly replied, "Fine. I'll stay in a nearby hotel until then. I don't want to see your face." I wondered where he planned to get the money for the hotel. From our joint account, perhaps? I decided not to ask him right then and remained silent. "If you leave any of your stuff, I'll throw it away," he said as he opened the door. I watched him leave and let out a deep sigh. I'm the one paying $1,800 a month for the house mortgage. Sometimes I wondered if he truly understood that. I pulled myself together and contacted our daughter, Anna. "Anna, I need to leave the house for a bit. Can I stay with you for a while?" "Sure. I'll come pick you up tomorrow." "Thank you so much." Feeling grateful for her words, I dialed another number. I felt like George had been looking down on me, so I decided to give him a lesson. In the end, George had a tough experience. "My name is Sarah. I'm 51 and I spend my days working hard at work and at home. I live with my husband, George. One day, I met him through an acquaintance and before I knew it, we were married. At 23, we were blessed with an angelic daughter, Anna. However, George hardly ever paid attention to Anna and I was mostly the one taking care of her. "Hey, play with Anna once in a while." He carelessly responded, "That's a woman's job, right?" Yes, he had decided that housework was a woman's duty and wouldn't help. But Anna was such a good child, always helping me whenever I was tired. "Dad, if you're relaxing, help out. Housework is your mother's duty." Without hesitation, Anna retorted, "Then what's your duty? Mom works for both you and her." Even George couldn't resist helping a bit after hearing her genuine words. Now, Anna has built a new life in a distant state, living happily with her husband's family. My parents passed away in an accident 5 years ago, and I had to let go of our beloved family home. George's parents live a bit far away, and we only see them at occasional family gatherings. They don't interfere with our lives and live peacefully. The relationship between George and me was, to put it mildly, complicated. Simply put, he's living day to day like a part-timer. "How's your current job?" "I quit." Again, his nature is to quit at the slightest obstacle. Whenever there's a problem, he runs away quickly. At best, he stays at his job for 3 months. At worst, he quits on the first day. Because of this pattern, there aren't many companies willing to employ him long-term. So, even at 56, he's stuck doing part-time jobs. We often fight over this. "Don't you want to take things more seriously? You're so persistent. People just don't appreciate my abilities." George's educational background is impressive. He graduated from a renowned university. But one's worth isn't just about their educational background. And I believe he should utilize that impressive education in his work. But I sometimes doubt if he's truly leveraging his abilities. My background is different. I started working right after high school. During high school, my father fell ill, and I had to support our family financially. Thanks to that, I've become a reliable figure in my company. Yet, it seemed that George didn't appreciate my efforts. "You didn't even go to college, yet you complain about me." Whenever I voiced my opinions, he responded this way. So, lately, I've been careful about what I say to him. Back when he was chasing his dreams, his eyes shone so brightly that I was captivated. Just like stars, while pursuing his dream, he truly sparkled. But recently, that spark seems to have disappeared. I wonder what he thinks of me? Lately, I've been having thoughts like that more and more, even considering divorce. Then, a surprising incident happened. I was a bit curious and checked our joint bank account. It's decreased by $2,000. Why? For someone like me who doesn't waste money, this amount was a shock. After all, I've been working hard to protect our household finances. So I asked him, "What did you use this $2,000 for?" He replied with an annoyed expression. "Actually, I gave it to my parents." I thought to myself, why? His parents, nearing 80, were really energetic and enjoyed doing volunteer work. I had never heard that they were in trouble, so I was surprised. I always considered his parents to be dependable. They've helped us in the past, but I never imagined they'd need our help. I couldn't hide my shock and surprise that he spent $2,000 for his parents. When I asked, "Why did you spend so much money?" he replied proudly, "Actually, my mother's birthday is coming up. So, I decided to give her a surprise hot spring trip. But why from our joint account?" I asked. He calmly replied, "It's okay. It's all part of being filial." I was a bit angry and said, "Shouldn't you have used your own pocket money?" He's always like this, using the money I save up without any hesitation. Like this house, for instance. He committed to it without consulting me. When I was worried about the payments, he reassured me by saying, "You have a steady job, so it should be fine, right?" Though the house was bought in my name, he seems to brag to his friends that it's his. Honestly, I've been feeling worn out by his attitude. "You're my wife, just follow my directions," he said, looking displeased, and then he went to his room. Whenever something went amiss, he locked himself away. I was left to think about our problems and would start doing some chores. The money I'd been saving up little by little was used like this. Our budget was tight since he used almost all my part-time job income. I wanted to escape this situation, but I found myself sighing. One day, memories of our fight still fresh. I received a call from my mother-in-law, thanking us for the hot spring trip, but what she said next shocked me. She told me he had proposed that they live with us after their trip. "Why did you suggest living together?" I asked, surprised. He said, "They're getting old, and it might be better to sell the family home and live together." I told him decisions like that should be made together and reminded him of the household situation. He snapped at me, "You're so annoying. If you're not satisfied, do whatever you want." I was speechless when he hit the table in anger. "All right, but I need time to pack. Can you wait until tomorrow?" He replied, "It's okay. I wanted some space anyway. I'll stay at a hotel for the next couple of days." I wondered where he'd get the money for the hotel. "It would probably be from our joint account. If I find any of your stuff, I'll throw it out. Don't forget anything," he said and left in a hurry. Watching his back, I felt drained. "Don't you know that I'm paying a monthly mortgage of $1,800? I muttered to myself and then decided to contact Anna. She lives in another state, but she has always been my rock. "Hello, Anna. You won't believe what happened." "What's wrong?" Anna's voice was as kind as ever. "It seems that suddenly his parents are coming to live with us, and he told me to leave." "What? Seriously?" I could sense her shock. "Yes. I really don't understand him. That's troubling. But if there's any way I can help, let me know." Her comforting words lightened my heart a bit. She's always been there for me. I was wondering, can I stay at your place for a bit? "Of course. Don't even ask. You're always welcome." I was grateful for Anna's bright words. "Thank you. This really helps." After hanging up the phone, I took a deep breath. I had decided to go to Anna's place, but it wouldn't end with just that. I had my own plans. Now, I need to make another call to solve one more problem. It seemed like he was underestimating me. If that's the case, maybe I'd give him a little surprise. And so, I called someone. "Hello, sorry for the sudden call, but I need your help tomorrow." As a result, George found himself in a much more difficult situation than expected, and his home felt like a true sanctuary for the soul. For the first time in a while, I had a genuinely relaxing moment. I decided to momentarily forget about work and, for a change, enjoy some me time, so I took paid leave. And his husband and father-in-law warmly welcomed me, making me feel like I was truly part of their family. The bond of the family after her mother-in-law's death felt incredibly special. My little granddaughter was initially wary of me, but by the next day, she reached her hands out to me, wanting me to play together with her. Her voice calling me grandma felt oddly comforting. As I was enjoying this peaceful time, my mobile suddenly rang. Looking at the notification, I thought to myself, I knew it. I let out a sigh and answered, Hello, what is it? George, as expected, sounded frantic. What happened? The house is a mess. Imagining his surprised face, I suppressed a chuckle. That's because, like you said, I removed almost everything. What do you mean, almost everything? Actually, the person I contacted was a friend who runs a waste collection service. They helped me clean out my furniture and appliances like my sofa, bed, refrigerator, and washing machine. Recyclable items were sent to a trusted recycling shop, while non-recyclables were properly disposed of. You know that I chose and bought most of the stuff in our house, right? I playfully teased George. Do you recall anything you bought with your own money? George, taking some time to think, replied, you may be right, but doing all this is a bit extreme. At that moment, Anna quietly approached me and said, Mom, let me borrow this for a bit, and gently took my phone with a smile. Seeing her smile reminded me of the old times when she used to scold George, which felt nostalgic. Hello, Dad. It's Anna. It's been a while. When Anna turned the speaker on, George's voice filled the room. Anna, you're with Mom. Yes, Mom is at our place right now. Anna's cheery confirmation seemed to puzzle George. With a serious expression, Anna asked, Dad, why has it come to this? Mom has always been the backbone of our home and supported us. Compared to that, what about you? Her words weighed heavy and tension filled the room. I was curious about how George would reply. Enough. Tell Sarah I'm seriously considering a divorce. Are you serious? What do you plan to do, Mom? If it comes to that, I'm open to a divorce. Really? Hearing my unexpected response, George's voice was filled with sheer astonishment. He probably never thought I'd consider divorce seriously. He seemed to be a bit too self-centered. I'll say it one more time. Are you really going to get a divorce? Sure. But don't expect any assets. I have no intention of sharing. Recalling our marital life, I remembered how I took care of our finances while he spent freely. We often had money-related arguments. It's okay. I get it. Just make sure to transfer the house's name. Sure, the house is yours now. All right then. I'll prepare the necessary documents. Thanks. After ending the call, Anna returned my phone. Her face showed concern, but her smile was kind and understanding. Mom, are you sure about the house? You bought everything with your salary, right? Well, there's nothing to worry about. Actually, when I told Anna the truth about the house, she burst out laughing. Indeed, I acquired that house with the money I earned. But there's still a mountain of unpaid mortgages. The amount of those mortgages is many times George's monthly salary. I can't imagine him paying that every month. I see. You're really amazing, aren't you, Mom? I've been working behind the scenes a bit too, so Dad will probably get into a fix soon. Anna said with a smug smile. What do you mean? Actually, I've become very close with Grandpa and Grandma, so I get a lot of information. Anna winked playfully, flashing a mischievous, childlike grin. Unlike me, she highly valued her relationship with her grandparents and frequently kept in touch. Because of this, after Anna reached out to her grandmother, things quickly escalated. My in-laws decided to cut their trip short and came to apologize to me. Sarah, we're truly sorry. We should have explained our situation. They gently elaborated on the recent chaos. So, the decision about selling their family home was true. But the reason behind it was because they were planning to move into a senior facility. They're currently waiting for a room to open up in the retirement home. For the brief interim, they needed a place to stay, and it happened to be our house. Upon hearing their wishes, George suggested they all live together with him. Although my in-laws were worried about causing me inconveniences, George told them, Sarah fully agrees. In fact, she suggested it. Thus, they seemed to be convinced to move in. However, I never agreed to any such thing. My relationship with my in-laws was quite ordinary. I would never make such a bold proposal. So it was all Dad's cunning idea, Anna remarked, looking exasperated. My in-laws, resembling parents apologizing for their child's mischief, seemed deeply remorseful. Afterwards, they were furious at George. Their eyes brimmed with the question, why would you do such a thing? He came up with this plan on his own, even trying to kick Sarah out of her own home. And he's always been at home, not even working properly. We need to distance ourselves from him, they concluded, seemingly cutting ties with their son. Later, they deeply apologized to me and left in a somber mood. Honestly, I think my in-laws are decent people. They seemed financially stable, having afforded George's expensive university fees. Hey, don't you think Grandma and Grandpa's parenting style is a bit too liberal? Anne asked me curiously. Why do you think that way? I responded, well, they could see Dad not working, but they didn't say anything. Plus, he seems to have inherited their personality. True, George always appeared quite indifferent towards Anna. My in-laws seemed absorbed in their volunteer work and hobbies, drawing a line between them and our family. However, maybe that's not unusual. I was always worried about Anna and occasionally called her. Perhaps my in-laws' leniency influenced George's selfish behavior. But George is an adult. He shouldn't let little things upset him and should act responsibly. It's only been a month since our divorce when my phone rang. I saw George's name, someone I considered part of my past. With a slight frown, I answered, what now? We have nothing left between us. Listen, it's about the house mortgage. There was panic and confusion in his voice. Apparently, he received the next mortgage statement. I diligently paid $1,800 every month, but he might have been unaware of the amount. It says $1,800 a month? Unbelievable. Yes, I've been paying it properly. You graduated from a good school, right? You can manage that, can't you? I could understand his shock. George's income was just over $1,200 a month. Given his spending habits, he barely saved anything. Although most items in the house were gone, he was able to manage with things he received from his parents. However, he wasn't good at housekeeping and ended up spending money on eating out and laundromats. For him, a mortgage surpassing his income would be tough. Are you surprised that I, a high school graduate, can pay $1,800? Well, kind of. You see, even as a high school graduate, I worked hard, steadily getting promotions. I realized the importance of perseverance. That's impressive, but it might be tough for me. It was your choice to be in this situation. Stop blaming others and take responsibility. When we divorced, we had clearly discussed the mortgage and other details. So, it was a given that George would pay for it if he continued to live in that house. By the way, his parents seemed to have moved to a senior facility. When George reached out for help, they firmly told him, you're an adult. Take care of your own affairs. Sarah, won't you reconsider? Let's start afresh. Wait, you're kidding, right? We can't be together anymore. Then, how am I supposed to pay off the mortgage? That's for you to figure out. When we were together, I paid for it, didn't I? Hearing his frustrated voice, I thought to myself, do your best. His future decisions and actions are up to him. I changed my settings so that I wouldn't receive any more calls from him. I had just started on a new path, so being pulled back into the past was truly bothersome. Hey, did you get any call from Dad? Actually, yes. Despite never truly apologizing, he asked if we could get back together. I could see through his words, though. It's all about money. Oh, maybe that's why he contacted me, too. After I rejected his proposal, it seemed he had been contacting Anna numerous times. Despite always being weak in front of Anna, him persistently trying to contact her might mean he was genuinely struggling. I told him that this is the result of his actions. Exactly. Also, now that you finally have the peace you deserve, Mom, I told him sternly not to cause any more trouble. Thank you so much. Anna, I'm so happy to see my daughter grow into such a considerate and wonderful woman. I felt proud of her. Hey, Mom, I've been wondering, do you know what Dad was spending his money on? Why do you ask? Didn't he frequently spend money on gambling? At that, I couldn't help but chuckle. George's income wasn't that great, to be honest. Now that I think about it, maybe he was sometimes grumpy because he lost money due to gambling. That's true. On the days he actually won, he would sometimes buy us special treats. His personality was perhaps a bit simple, but I wonder why I even married him. I chuckled at the naivety of my past self. When my friend introduced me to him, he seemed to sparkle. But Anna is smart. She learned from my experiences and chose someone opposite of George, someone truly kind. Anna's husband is family-oriented, spends weekends with her and their daughter actively, and has a high position at his job, ensuring a stable life. He loves playing with his daughter during his free time and occasionally checks up on me. You really chose a good man. Do you think so, Mom? Thank you. As she spoke with a beaming smile, she looked genuinely happy. From now on, it's time for you to enjoy your life more. I'm getting older though. I'm not sure where to start. Age is just a number, Mom. You can still find a lot of happiness ahead of you. Hearing Anna's words warmed my heart. I suddenly hoped for someone understanding like Anna's father-in-law to be my next partner in life. Just then, I heard my granddaughter calling out to play. Grandma, come play with me. Oh, have you been waiting to play with me? Let's play together. Surrounded by Anna's joyful family, I, too, was smiling. I'm glad that Anna is blessed with such a wonderful family. Changing the topic, it seems George faced financial difficulties and had to sell the house. He used the money to pay off some debts but moved to a cramped apartment. He struggled to find a stable job and his debts only grew. Eventually, he couldn't even pay rent and ended up living on the streets. One day, I heard shocking news that he was taken away by a shady group. His path was indeed a result of his own choices. George's parents felt deeply remorseful. They didn't want to burden me anymore. They sold their house and used their savings to pay for a facility. They also ensured their inheritance would go to me. I don't need this much money, I told them, but they insisted it was their apology. In the midst of all this, with a bit of financial freedom, I considered moving out of Anna's home. But, Mom, you can stay here. I certainly don't want to bother you and your family, Anna. Actually, my husband and I were talking about living together with you. Really? It seems Anne always cared for me. And after discussing it with her husband and father-in-law, they planned to invite me to live with them. And then, I received the invitation at just the right time. So, Mom, don't be too concerned. Just have fun playing with the kids. Okay, thank you, Anna. My granddaughter had taken a real liking to me. Due to Anna's husband's background of being raised in a single-parent household with his father, he warmly welcomed me into their home. Anna's father-in-law also expressed his wish for me to live happily, and with that kind gesture, I decided to move in with them. Previously, money was tight, so I had to work. But now, with the help of Anna, her husband, and her father-in-law, things have become much easier. And here's some exciting news. Anna is expecting her second child. In the meantime, I've been helping around the house, playing with my granddaughter, and spending my time that way. Anna's father-in-law also helps with household chores just like me, so we have a fun time together doing things around the house. Whenever I do something, the family always says thank you, and that makes me very happy. Unlike my previous husband, this family openly expresses their gratitude. Each time, I truly feel, I'm so fortunate. When asked, how do you get along with my father-in-law? I replied with a smile, I want to spend my life with him forever. That's good. It feels like a new family, Anna said, gently rubbing her belly. With Anna in my life, everything has become much brighter. Meeting her might be the only thing I'm thankful for regarding George, LOL. With that thought, I'm motivated to do my best for my family today as well. Sarah, if you'd like, I want to walk through life with you from now on. How does that sound? Are you sure about me? If so, of course, let's be together. I responded to his words like this. I've regained my confidence. I was on the verge of forgetting my own worth, but his words made me realize its value again. I believe that as a family, we'll face many happy moments and challenges together from now on, and that truly warms my heart.